It's time for your sports fix.
Strap yourselves in, folks.
From two guys who have covered the teams you're passionate about for years.
We are professionals.
This is Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5 The KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, happy Friday, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson, thank you for making us a part of your day. How's it going over there, Ben?
Doing well. How are you?
Living the dream.
Yeah?
Yes?
Yeah, I think so.
All right.
You got a big game this weekend. The Olympics are opening today. You're going on a cruise. Life is good.
Is it?
I think so. A lot of people would trade a lot to have those opportunities.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's pretty good. You seem less sure of it.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. I've got a ton of anxiety about traveling in general.
Yeah.
Like getting ready to travel gives me a ton of anxiety. My wife, I was telling you and Maddie, my wife is like an obsessive packer.
Uh-huh.
And that gives me a super amount of anxiety.
Sure.
Like she has this monster checklist that raises my blood pressure just seeing it.
Yeah.
And then like it's funny, like her insistence on the kids helping, which is a good thing. But at some point, like I'm just doing it.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's always a fine line.
I mean, when we were packing, I guess it was 2 nights ago, I mean, there was tears and emotion and all about, no, you just need to pick out an outfit. Just pick out an outfit. Anyway, and now I've got my arm hurt. I'm never been on a cruise before. I'm a little concerned because I get vertigo.
Okay.
So, which is not necessarily a problem during the trip. It's more a problem after the trip.
Okay.
So, I don't know. I've got a bad attitude about it, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, Disney will be happy to welcome you.
And I really don't care for the Patriots or the Seahawks.
Okay. But you'll watch the game.
Maybe.
Okay. Don't watch the game.
Are there any teams that you do care for?
No. Jake's a hater.
In the NFL?
Yeah.
It's more I hate teams more than others.
Right.
Mainly. I used to live in North Carolina. I kind of like the Panthers.
You'll take the Panthers if they could do well?
I grew up, because I randomly had a Steelers jersey, I grew up cheering for the Steelers. Okay. But I wasn't really a Ben Roethlisberger guy, so I kind of cooled on that. In your awful division, Christian, I used to kind of like the Chargers. But then, I don't know, the L.A. Chargers, that feels pretty weird. I'm fairly indifferent on the Seahawks, I guess.
Okay.
So I'm pulling for the Seahawks, but who wants to see Alex Geary happy? So I should be cheering against the Seahawks.
Okay.
But I can't cheer for the Patriots. I mean, that's impossible. I kind of like the Bills.
Okay.
Like if I'm thinking about that division.
I tried to like the Bills, and then they just do nothing but disappoint you. So as casual as I get to be about my NFL fandom, I sold all that stock a couple years ago.
Well, they've got a terrible,
smart decision.
Terrible general manager.
Bad GM, bad owner. Yeah, it's all bad.
I've never been a Packers guy per se, but I'm definitely cheering for Jordan Love.
Mm-hmm. I like the idea of the Packers.
The community-owned team or whatever in a
small town.
In a town that isn't really a pro sports town.
Frigid outdoor environment, and they stick through it. Yeah, that's cool.
Although that is cheating a little bit because they're really not that far from Milwaukee.
Yeah.
It'd be like if, I don't know, Spanish Fork had an NFL team.
Yeah.
It's really not that far from, like if Layton had an NFL team. Yeah.
Just down the road.
Right. It's
not that far.
It's not that far away. So it's not like every person in town goes to the game because the population is only whatever it is. So, yeah, to answer your question, Christian, I cheer for some teams. Just not the Broncos.
I get it.
Or the Patriots. I tried to get on board being a Raiders fan, honestly, when they moved to Vegas. Because I do. I love Vegas.
Mm-hmm.
It's the closest opportunity to go to the NFL from Salt Lake. I love it how close people think Denver and Salt Lake are, and it's like, no, not really.
By plane, yeah.
by
driving.
Plane.
It's the most out-of-the-way city in America.
Yeah, it's not really convenient.
It is really hard to drive to Denver.
Yeah.
It's a tough drive.
Yeah.
Depending on which way you go, either through eastern Utah or up through Laramie.
pretty boring.
Well, the
Drive's
Laramie,
always pretty boring.
the Eastern Utah one isn't. The Laramie one certainly is. Like when you go through, what's that, like Durango and all that? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I guess I've never gone that way. But yeah, Laramie. That is a tough drive. That is a boring drive.
Yeah, hard pass. So, I don't know. I don't root for any team from New York in any sport.
Okay.
Refuse to. Those people get enough attention.
Bing bong.
All right. Well, anyway, going through the NFL teams that I hate less than others.
I kind of like both of these teams. This is a win-win for me. I think Drake Maye is a cool story. I really like the Seahawks in general, so I'm up for all of it.
The only part of the Drake Maye story that I actually like is that Bill Belichick won't let North Carolina use him in any promotional materials, which is really funny.
Yeah, this is a cool Patriots team if you hate Bill Belichick and Tom Brady.
Which I don't like either one of those
Taking
guys.
it to those two guys for saying both of those two were fighting over who was actually responsible for the championships in New England. And they've got a very good chance to repeat this weekend without either of them or get a title without either of them and move somebody else into that conversation. I like Vrabel a lot, or as they called him on, was it the ESPN Awards? What was it last night? NFL Awards? Mike Vrabel? No, but I like Vrabel quite a bit. I think that's a very cool coach. I love that Tennessee had no idea what to do with him, so they moved on from him, and now he's awesome. Again, the Drake Maye thing moving on from Tom Brady, though I'm certainly not a Tom Brady hater. I do like that storyline. And then, of course, sticking it to the Jets every chance you get is the funniest thing you can do. So if Darnold wins, I'll be thrilled.
I don't like Bob Kraft either, though. Who wants to see that guy succeed?
Whatever.
What do you mean, whatever?
Do I have a reason to hate Bob Kraft?
Sure you do.
Okay, I'll look it up.
He's the owner of the Patriots.
That's fine with me. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't. Who wants to see the Patriots win another one? Sticking it to the Jets. That's what I'm going to go with. Sam Darnold.
Okay.
Sticking it to the Jets. But can you imagine if so Alex Smith was the number one pick in the draft of the Niners. Imagine if the Niners made it to the Super Bowl in Alex's second year. But Witt was so bitter over Alex leaving school early.
Right.
That he refused to embrace it in any way, shape, or form.
We're not going to acknowledge that person.
Not going to highlight the fact that he went to Utah.
Yeah.
Not going to tweet out, hey, congratulations out. Not going to do any of that. Now that is petty bitterness.
It's pathetic. It's not just petty, it's pathetic.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
You used the word pathetic. I used the word amazing.
Yeah. Amazingly pathetic. But that's what Bill Belichick is.
Or it's what his girlfriend is, maybe. I don't know. Is it Bill? Or I don't think he's like a skin suit for her at this point,
I
right?
think they've unlocked that for one another. They've brought out the worst in each other, which is quite a pairing.
Yeah, I don't think he makes any. The minute he showed up at that the adult cheer competition, it confirmed that this man has no will of his own.
Oh, it was before that. It was the mermaid picture.
Or maybe it was the mermaid picture.
The mermaid picture wasn't great.
It's like this man he is not making any sort of decision. He's not even deciding between coffee and Senka in the morning.
You'll be drinking this.
She makes that decision for him.
Yeah.
Which is kind of a place to be. She's freezing out Drake Maye, in fact.
So who are you rooting more against, Bill Belichick or the Jets? It's kind of a win-win. Isn't that how everyone feels about this game?
Now, why I should cheer for Seattle?
Well, if you're rooting against Bill Belichick, then you're rooting for the Patriots because Drake Maye is embarrassing him.
Oh, okay.
It's the greatest player suddenly in North Carolina history. And Bill Belichick, who's now the head coach of North Carolina, can't bring him back for recruiting visits. Can't hit him up and say, look what we did.
Well,
look at how fun this is.
He's definitely not the best football player in North Carolina history, and not even close.
Okay, well, you do have he'd be the first starting quarterback to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but Lawrence Taylor went to North Carolina, so Drake Maye is not and will not ever be better than Lawrence Taylor.
The only former player you would welcome back onto campus.
Oh, Lawrence Taylor was there for Belichick's first game. You don't remember that? He and Michael Jordan were in the box
Clearly,
together.
what a success. What an enormous success that was. What a great sign that had to be.
Embrace Drake Maye, but don't embrace Lawrence Taylor. That's your advice?
If you're trying to recruit now, yeah.
Oh, Lawrence Taylor's a legend.
Yeah, he's had some exciting times.
He's had some controversy in his personal life. Still good at football.
Correct. But Drake Maye has none and could be holding the Lombardi Trophy.
But not the best player to go to North Carolina, which
That's
was
fair.
indeed my point.
That's fair.
Lawrence Taylor may be the best football player of all time.
Yeah, top 5 player of all time. You're right.
Jerry Rice is probably the best football player of all time. But yeah, Lawrence
maybe
Taylor.
this is where Drake. No, I mean Tom Brady is, but Drake Maye is going to start laying out this conversation. Maybe Drake Maye can now start to dethrone Tom.
I think you could make an argument Jerry over Tom.
I wouldn't.
I mean, Jerry has plenty of Super Bowls and has set all these records that will never, ever be broken.
Just like Tom.
Has he set records that will never, ever be broken? I mean, total
7 Super Bowls?
Yeah, outside of that.
Outside of the only stat that matters? Yeah, no, probably not.
It's not the only stat that matters.
Super Bowl winning? Winning's not the only stat that matters. You're right.
Well, in other sports, we consider other things besides championships. Why is football so different?
Where?
I don't know. Karl Malone's considered a top 50 player of all time. He never won
Is he
NBA
considered the best player of all time? No, why not?
Well, because he wasn't the best player.
It's the only thing that matters.
He wasn't the best player.
The only reason we talk Jordan is because he has 6 titles.
Well, why isn't Bill Russell considered better than Jordan?
He's considered a top 5 player of all time, and yeah, there's some era stuff in there. Same reason we don't consider Lou Gehrig the greatest baseball player of all time. He's got 9 World Series championships.
But we do consider Babe Ruth, who played before and with Lou Gehrig.
But he also did more things.
Did he win more championships?
I don't know.
Exactly. But in football, we're just so focused on Super Bowls. I honestly don't understand that. It's part of the conversation in other sports, but it's the end-all be-all in Super Bowls. I mean, we actually considered Joe Montana for a while to be the best quarterback of all time, and he certainly was not.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like Jerry Rice has plenty of Super Bowls and all these crazy records and all these reception things that'll absolutely never be broken. Tom Brady, how many times did he lead the league in passing?
Couple?
Right. Not the all-time leader in yards or touchdowns or any of that stuff.
Is he not?
I think he is.
In yards?
Yeah.
He's the all-time leader in yards, touchdowns, first downs,
How long will
completions.
that last?
Probably forever. He played from the age of 23 to 45.
Yeah, but I wouldn't say
Probably never going to be broken.
But the NFL has changed so much. I mean, go look at Terry Bradshaw's passing records. They're probably no better than, I don't know, give me an average, Sam Darnold.
Well, yeah, no, Terry was a very mediocre player.
But Joe Montana, the same thing. Go look at his numbers. They're much closer to Sam Darnold than they are. And plus, now you throw in an extra game.
Sure.
But I don't know. Interesting place to go, the GOAT in football. I'm not even saying Tom Brady's not. I just think you can make an argument for Jerry Rice.
Sure, and people will. Or Lawrence Taylor, like you mentioned. And the hard thing is there are 3 totally different responsibilities on the field, which is why football is more unique than basketball.
That's why it's stupid to even say a GOAT in football.
Yeah.
Because a left tackle and a quarterback, it's such a different skill.
Apples to oranges. Yeah, totally different game.
Right. Maybe Jonathan Ogden should be the GOAT of all time.
Well, how do we view Sam Darnold if he wins this weekend? You think he just becomes the worst player ever to win a Super Bowl as a quarterback? He hasn't played that way.
No, because Nick Foles and Brad Johnson and Trent Dilfer exist. He's closer to them than he is
Mahomes.
Yeah. But I think part of it's unfair for Darnold. Because, again, the Jets stink. Everybody makes a determination on somebody based on his time with the Jets. And then all of a sudden, he's now put together 2 not good but great seasons, won a ton of games, is going to the Super Bowl. But yet people like me just go, oh, he's closer to Dilfer than he is Mahomes because of the stink of the Jets.
Yeah, and the narrative, regardless of what he does, he could go win the Super Bowl MVP. He probably would be the favorite to win it, though there's obviously other names that could jump up. But 5 years from now, 10 years from now, when we talk about the Seahawks, if they win this Super Bowl, it will be, well, yeah, look at that defense, and they had Jackson Smith-Njigba. Like, yeah, they had the best receiver in football, and they had an elite defense.
Well, it kind of depends on what Darnold does from here. But, yeah, I get your point.
But do people don't really even remember what he did in the AFC Championship game, or the NFC Championship game, excuse me. He was awesome. I mean, he was the best player on the field. He had one of the best games of his career. And they're still going to chalk it up to, yeah, well, look at that defense. Yeah, look at what the Njigba can do. What do you have? 8 catches for almost 200 yards, something crazy? It's just like, yeah, that will be the narrative that surrounds him, regardless.
It is funny. I mean, Steve Young didn't even play for the first part of his career, and nobody assumed he sucked. Why does everybody assume Sam Darnold sucks?
Yeah.
You know what's kind of weird is we never assumed Matt Stafford sucked, and he didn't win a dang thing for the Lions for over a decade.
His numbers were prolific. Slow to start, but very prolific, very early.
You just told me it was all about winning.
Well, no, I think you're totally right. I mean, I don't think I'd formed a strong opinion on Stafford, other than the narrative was always, man, he's on the worst team. And that was kind of always the narrative around him. He put up huge numbers, and Jared Goff had the opposite example, which was, man, he's terrible, but he's on a team that wins a lot if only they could get a quarterback, and he's always had a little bit of a hard time shaking that as well. So Stafford did escape it, but Stafford was really good really early. Darnold was not.
It's just funny, the narrative and how people just can't get over it.
Yeah, it's really hard to change your reputation once you establish it.
You can't change it, and that's why if I'm a quarterback, man, going to the right team means so much more than where I'm picked. Going to the right opportunity, like Jordan Love's career, and we'll see where Jordan goes. You know, he's got improvements to be made or whatever, and they have high expectations in Green Bay. But if he went to the Jets and started right away, his career might be over.
Yeah, no question about it.
Like right now, he could be...
Yeah, if he went to Carolina, started the first 2 years.
Managing a target somewhere or something. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but like out of football is my point.
Yeah, totally different life.
So that's a wild thing to think about, because once some idiot on some radio bozo decides you suck, you could apparently never shake that for the rest of your career. I mean, Kirk Cousins did nothing but play well at Washington, play well in Minnesota, have a whatever year career before he went to Atlanta, and every radio bozo out there just assumed he sucked.
Yeah.
Put up crazy numbers in Minnesota, and everybody just assumed he sucked. Heaven forbid if you get a label early, because you're never going to shake it.
The Raiders had the 19th pick in the 2020 NFL Draft. If they take Jordan Love over Damon Arnett, who played a career of 15 games, as a first-round pick, as the 19th overall pick, for 3 different teams, he played a total of 15 games. If they take Jordan Love, instead of letting him slip to number 26 and the Packers, Jordan Love's career probably looks a lot different.
He's out of the game.
He's out of the game.
Because he wasn't good day one on a bad team, and everybody just assumes he sucks.
Yeah.
Crazy. People who come into the league and they assume that they're good get a zillion bites at the apple, which is kind of funny. You know, Peyton Manning historically did not have a very good rookie year. I think he set the NFL interceptions record for a rookie.
Yeah.
Yeah, still stands.
Yeah, like 26.
But everybody just assumed he was good. And it turned out that he was. But the point is, I mean, nobody was barking and moving off Peyton Manning. It's funny that, like, some players, even though they're picked high, get that and some don't. I mean, Zach Wilson went 2. He never got any of that.
So as funny as it is that, or as strange as what we're talking about, that once you establish a reputation, it's basically impossible to shake, or it's nearly impossible to shake. Great Darnold has a chance to win one of the craziest Super Bowls we've ever seen.
And then everybody's going to assume he still sucks.
And everybody's still going to assume he stinks. But it will be one of the great wins of all time, because he had to fully rebuild his career out of the ashes, because he was a backup journeyman everywhere and has turned into one of the best players.
And you'd think after all that, people would go, oh, he must be pretty good.
Yeah. Nope.
Sure not. I bet you part of Trent Dilfer wishes he never would have won the Super Bowl.
So he didn't have to wear that mantle. Didn't have to wear that for the rest of his life.
It's not brought up, whoa, Trent Dilfer is Super Bowl champion. It's, wow, if Trent Dilfer can do it, anybody can.
Trent Dilfer played.
If you can win it with a clown like Trent Dilfer wasn't a bad quarterback.
No,
what's the first thing you think of?
Sure.
When you think of Trent Dilfer?
Sure.
Clown that accidentally won the Super Bowl.
He played in 6 total playoff games. He made the playoffs twice in his career. Made 1 Pro Bowl when he was with Tampa, and then, won the Super Bowl in 2000.
Well, Tampa was a joke when he was with
absolutely.
Tampa.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It is funny. Maybe people don't care, but, you know, heaven forbid you get a reputation. A bad reputation. I guess good on you if you get a good reputation that you didn't earn. You can just ride that wave. But, man, Sam Darnold's fighting uphill for the rest of his life.
Does he replace Rusty as the best quarterback the Seahawks have had since 2000?
Well, are you talking about just purely winning? Again, I don't know what your standards are.
Does he become more of a favorite? Because I'm thinking the reason you do want to be Trent Dilfer is you never have to buy a drink in Baltimore again for the rest of your life, right? Like you are a hero there forever. They will always pat you on the back and welcome you, and you're a part of history of that town, and that's a cool thing to do. So if Trent Dilfer wasn't even on the Baltimore Ravens after he won the Super Bowl, he went to Seattle after that the next year. Or maybe it was the next year. He played 1 year in Baltimore, sneaked in and won a title and split. So Darnold, if he wins, you become a legend forever in Seattle. Rusty's got to have some level of legend in Seattle, though, again, his ending and being so overpriced that it cost them the entire Legion of Boom that they could not wait to get rid of him probably hurt his reputation some, not to mention he's on the wrong end of the worst throw in Super Bowl history.
Well, there's an example of a guy who sucked that everybody assumed was good.
Sure, and rode that reputation
forever.
I mean, he's still making $40 million from the Broncos.
Yeah, guy's made a couple $100 million in his career because everybody assumed he was good. Because he got dropped into an all-star team and had success early. Back to winning not being a great indicator necessarily of how good somebody is.
Sure.
Rusty won right out of the gate with the best running back in the league and one of the best defenses of all time.
Yep.
But somehow Let Rusty Cook became a thing and ultimately was the downfall of the Seahawks. But everybody was like, yeah, Rusty's good. What are you talking about?
Winning a Super Bowl probably extended Trent Dilfer's career for 5 years. That is beneficial. Sam Darnold will get 5 more. But Sam Darnold, if he wins a Super Bowl, is going to make another $100 million in his career.
Except for that wasn't true for Nick Foles, so why would it be true for Sam Darnold?
We'll see.
He
curious.
got paid a lot by the Jags, and then he fell off.
Yeah, how many seasons did he spend with the Jags?
He got paid though.
Yeah,
that's what. Good for him. I don't care.
Yeah.
Ben just told me it's going to extend your career for 5 years if you win the Super Bowl. I just pointed out a case in recent history where that was entirely untrue.
I think he started for the Jags and then got hurt and then started for the Bears and then that was it.
Yeah.
Dominated with the Eagles. In fact, beat your Patriots if memory serves.
Yeah.
Earned an incredible nickname. Did not extend his career for 5 years. May have shortened it.
Wins the Super Bowl in 2017.
Because everybody
retires in 2022. He played 5 more years after that.
Because the Jags assumed he was good. He was not. But he had a Super Bowl, which is all that matters.
Yeah.
All right. Stay tuned. Top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
It's time to break down the biggest stories of the day. This is the top 3 stories of the day on KSLSports.com. On 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Time for the top 3 stories of the day at KSLSports.com. It's brought to you by J. Brooks Jewelers. Cherish your love with J. Brooks Jewelers. Explore their expertly crafted engagement rings made from the finest materials. J. Brooks Jewelers. All right, Christian, where do you want to start today?
Number 1, the Jazz lose to Atlanta yesterday. There was some controversy on the Snap Talk about Lauri Markkanen not being in for the final shot.
Well, he wasn't in for the final 16 minutes of the game. I don't get angry watching basketball games hardly ever. It just doesn't bother me. It's our job. Last night was such a painful game to watch. It's one of the more painful games of the last 3 years for me, watching these basketball teams. First of all, I cannot believe how horrendous the Eastern Conference is. The Jazz literally set out to lose that game. They went to lose that game. They are trying to lose games. They're tanking. We know they're tanking. They didn't play Lowry for the last 16 minutes of a close game. They started They started playing Oscar Tshiebwe. Like, that's the sign. They are waving the white flag. Take the ball. Win the game. We are giving you this game. And Atlanta just could not get out of its own way. And yeah, they have Jalen Johnson, and he has a 15-point, 15-rebound, 15-assist triple-double, and he's an all-star, yada, yada, yada. And I get they just made a flurry of trades as well at the deadline, and so that's going to be part of it. But the Jazz are trying to lose this game and can't get out of their own way to lose it. And Atlanta desperately needs this game to make the playoffs and can't get in front of themselves to win. And then on top of it, you're just reminded of how silly tanking is, because the Jazz have a apparently reasonable rotation player in Jock Landale who they give away, right? He's a part of this trade with Chicago and with Cleveland and with Atlanta, technically 2 separate transactions, but the Jazz have to get rid of Jock Landale to take Lonzo Ball back, to take the draft picks. But they don't really want Jock Landale because he's going to help you win games. All right, I get that's what the last 3 years have been about. And then Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who played for the Jazz for a little bit, and they didn't really understand how to use him. Quinn Snyder blew it, and then the Jazz weren't interested in winning when he was here with Will Hardy. So they threw him into the Mike Conley trade, and it was a sign of the tanking beginning. And it was just a reminder of how annoying every storyline has been for the Jazz for 3 straight years when it comes to tanking. And that now, even as they finally move out of this chapter and they go and get Jaren Jackson Jr. and they're going to start trying to win games next year, you're just reminded of just like how obnoxious all of this is for the last 3 seasons, 4 seasons by the end of this year, and almost 3 years to the date when they started making these trades, of just like how ridiculous all of this is. And that it's finally over has made it feel even more insufferable to me.
It's funny, you're reminded about that. I feel like we've been, or at least I have been, squawking about this every day for 3 years. I don't care about Jock Landale. He's not good.
Yeah, okay, he's just a player. He's just a backup center.
Doesn't matter. I find it funny people were upset Lowry didn't play. What are you talking about? I mean, Lowry's missed entire games for no reason for 3 years now.
Yeah.
He's missed the entire months for no reason. For 3 years now, so you're trying to dump a random game in Atlanta, and he doesn't play in the fourth quarter. We've talked about this. This has happened a bunch where the other team is so crappy, and yes, the Hawks are terrible. And it's amazing that Quinn Snyder still has a job because they're dreadful.
And they're going to get bailed out because they're going to get a high pick from New Orleans. But yes, not because of anything they're doing on the floor.
But Will Hardy's got to be over there looking at Quinn Snyder. I can't call him Quinn. Saying, "What are you doing? Win the dang game. What are you doing? Win the basketball.
Please take this."
And by the way, I'm not going to stand here for your Oscar Sheboy slander because he is better than Slow-Mo.
That's fine.
They haven't been playing him instead of Slow-Mo because Slow-Mo was helping you lose. I think Sheboy, I like Sheboy. He plays with a ton of energy.
Absolutely not an NBA player.
A bunch of size. I don't know. He's still better than Slow-Mo.
I don't think that's true, but that's fine.
At the center position, he certainly is still better.
I don't think that's true either, but that's fine.
Slow-mo. But I don't know. The Jazz had to work hard to dump a game in Atlanta. They had to work hard to win 17 games last year.
Right. And
I mean, that's people I know wasn't Locke doing backflips on his podcast or whatever because the
tank's
the
over.
It's not.
Not yet.
It's not.
This is about to be, and I've said this.
It's going to get worse before it gets better. And I know people are excited about next year, and that's great. And I'm sure the people that are selling Jazz season tickets over across the street are having a great week.
Yeah.
And I get why people are enthused about it or whatever, but that's still 6 months away. More? 7 months? 6 months?
September, yeah.
September?
October, technically.
And they still have to, if they're going to hit their mark of winning 20, whatever you put.
I think you can win 6 more games.
Like
22 wins.
Yeah, if you love Oscar Sheboy, you're going to see him more. You're not going to see Lowry Markkanen more.
No.
I'm surprised he even dressed for the game, honestly.
I don't know if you're going to see him in Salt Lake anymore. You don't have to play. Well, here's the thing. So here's the player participation rule that you do have to abide by if you're the Jazz to avoid fines. Your star players, which now are Jaren Jackson Jr. and Lowry Markkanen, can't both sit the same game and can't sit road games. So you can rest Lowry Markkanen at home the rest of the season if you want to. You don't have to play him at all because your home crowd gets a chance to see him otherwise. So you don't have to play him at all, and you won't face any fines from the NBA. But I do think you have to play either Lowry or Jaren Jackson Jr. at home in these games the rest of the season, I believe. And you can't rest them on the road just to rest them. So how do you negotiate that is going to be the shenanigans that we see from the Jazz the rest of the season.
And that's easy.
Yeah, you'll find a way. Everyone's hurt.
This rule is so dumb, and it is so a cat in the wall that doesn't fix anything.
Right.
Because all you have to do is fake an injury. That's it.
Yep.
Cat in the wall, eh?
Or dress him and don't play him.
The same reason Atlanta's not going to play Trae Young. The same reason that Washington's not going to play Trae Young. Washington's not going to play Anthony Davis either. They'll find a couple of games to play them in, but not a lot. That's what the Jazz are going to do as well.
Jaren Jackson Jr. just came down with a sprained ankle.
Yeah.
just now.
Has had something nagging all season that he's going to address now.
Yeah, that rule is so silly. It doesn't make any sense to me. Again, Jason, the Dallas got fined for it just because Jason Kidd admitted it. Yeah. And I still don't know why they fined the Jazz for it. It's selective prosecution, in my opinion. I'd be a little bent about it if I were the Jazz, but I mean, that rule is meaningless.
Yeah, it's meaningless. And the Jazz, again, they're going to win 6 games. They've got 30 left, I think, on the season, so they'll go 6-24 the rest of the way. I think that's going to be the goal. It's going to take some work to do it, but the other teams around them will also win some games and relieve some of that pressure.
What's next?
But Jazz are expected to have Jaren Jackson Jr., Vince Williams, and John Conchar tomorrow in Orlando.
Number 2, the trade deadline came and went. Any other big takeaways?
I don't know how many teams actually got better. I do think Indiana going and trading for Ivica Zubac is a good trade. He's a really good player. He's just a very good center. And the Clippers pulling the plug on their season despite the fact that they were 17-5 in their last 21 games is strange, though the conspiracy theory is that the NBA is about to come down on them for Kawhi Leonard and his tree planting fiasco.
I wonder if that has anything to do with it. I think it's just a clutch thing. I think they wanted James Harden extended, and so they swapped clutch guys, and it works for the Clippers. The Clippers thing is weird. The Indiana, Zubac just came down with a sprained ankle.
Yeah, he's not going to play either.
He's not going to play either. I mean, in the short term, basically nothing happened other than teams ducking tax bills, which is what the trade deadline is going to become all about.
That is really what it was about.
As we go forward, I saw people. What was the label everybody was throwing on it? The pre-free agency or something. Pre-agency.
Yeah.
I think there's some of that. I think it really proved how dumb NBA franchises are, if anything, because the James Harden deal is dumb for especially for Cleveland, which is who they were trying to get better. It's totally dumb. Anthony Davis, that trade is dumb.
Yep.
The Trae Young trade was dumb before that. And then all these other, tax ducking moves are all because they overpaid someone at some point, and they have to, with some teams, I would guess, move off players that they don't really want to move off of because they're going to cost them 4 times what they're making in their tax bill, depending on which franchise they are.
100%.
So, I mean, it is kind of funny what the trade deadline has become.
Get back under the tax.
Let's recover from dumb decisions.
With that in mind, I do think the Jazz acquired the best player that moved at the trade deadline.
I would agree. Did you see that yesterday? The Warriors were trying to get him until they shut down conversation because they thought they had Giannis.
We talked about why were the Jazz eager to pull this trigger on Tuesday as opposed to waiting to make it official later. And there was some thought of when you have a good thing, you just say yes and you don't let them back out. Maybe that's what it was. They realized, hey, if Giannis doesn't move, there's going to be a suddenly, escalated market for Jaren Jackson Jr., and maybe somebody out of nowhere is going to be willing to throw in, better picks than what the Jazz put in. And Golden State would be the team. So maybe the Jazz just said, this is the deal, get it done. You pick your players, and we'll say yes. And so the Jazz moved Jaren Jackson Jr.
Yeah, bingo.
Yeah. Right, that's good work. If that's the guy you think you need, and you think he's going to help you get out of your rebuild, good move.
All right, what's next?
Number 3, the Winter Olympic Opening Ceremonies are today.
About an hour, 11:40 on NBC. You could be able to watch those. We'll obviously have all the coverage at KSLSports.com.
The time difference is going to make this unique, as often Olympic Games are, depending on what part of the world that they're in. We were joking about with Maddie about our coverage at KSLSports.com and how people are going to be on the early morning shifts.
Yeah.
By the way, we're going to have all the latest for you, KSLSports.com for sure. We've got people covering it literally 24 hours a day. But do you like it? Do you like, because I've always kind of liked randomly having sports that are during the day and not necessarily prime time, although I know they re-rack the major stuff for prime time, right, which makes total sense. But especially, this started for me when I was producing morning radio, and I used to love when the French Open was on.
Yeah.
It's like, I've got live good stuff right here in the morning.
Yeah, wake up and it's on.
Or at your lunch break or whatever. Maybe you're cruising on over to, I don't know, JCW's or something that's going to have TVs up, and you're like, oh, yeah, sweet. I get to watch the Olympics on my lunch break. I love that stuff.
I'm with you. Shout out to our digital producers at KSLSports.com who are working shifts beginning at 2 a.m. because that's when a lot of the primetime stuff is happening in Italy. But yeah, I loved it when they were in France and there were things going on all day long. And NBC benefits by being able to say, yeah, let's just schedule this out. So all weekend, And really, all day, there's something to watch. So, yes, I'm excited for that aspect.
And then mash up the best parts and put it in primetime.
Yep. Yeah, re-rack whatever you have to.
Give Bob some drops and go for it.
Eye drops?
Yeah.
There you go.
Clear that up.
Yeah.
Or I guess
if
Mike,
you can.
Do you think Mike Tirico just wears goggles around for like the month before the Olympic Games?
So he doesn't get sabotaged?
I think he has to do the Super Bowl this weekend, but
Busy.
But
What a
yeah,
week. What a month.
I'd be wearing goggles the whole time.
Yeah.
You're like I can't risk a pink eye outbreak. That nearly ruined Bob's career.
We're assuming that we're going to see Clayton Keller walking with the Olympic team, right?
Why wouldn't he?
Why wouldn't
Yeah,
he?
why wouldn't he? I'm excited to see that. I mean, they played 48 hours ago. To turn around and then have to be in Italy is tough, but that'll be very cool.
Do you
What a
think
moment
he'll
for him.
get any television time?
They'll show the hockey team. Hockey team's supposed to be good this year, and the fact that the NHL players are playing is a huge deal.
I know, but the American team always has like hundreds of people on it. You can't pick anybody out.
Sure.
They focus on the famous people, and then everybody else gets drowned out.
LeBron being on the front of the boat.
Whereas like the Jamaican Winter Olympic team, there's like 3 guys.
Yeah, Lindsey Vonn will be at the front of everything this year.
Don't make Lindsay walk.
Yeah, well, put her on a scooter or whatever. Or,
She was skiing this morning.
yeah,
Did
she was
you
skiing
see?
this morning. She
whatever.
finished her practice run, but she did survive. So that's
Imagine
good.
the ego. Move over, Lindsay. Let somebody else do it.
Be some snowboarders, etc. But
Do we
Yep.
know what they're wearing?
Is Roots still a thing? That was the O2.
yeah, and then they did all
Olympics.
denim a couple of times. Classic American. I don't know. We'll see.
Isn't that technically Canadian?
The tuxedo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although
Imagine wearing those pants. Oh my goodness.
All right, stay tuned. We'll have more Jake and Ben coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson
1, 2, 3, move it.
on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, we're teaming up with Beehive Meals, honoring people that impact youth sports in our communities. Nominate the youth sports volunteer you know for the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week at kslsports.com/contest. Listen every Thursday to JJ and Alex for the winner. It's the Beehive Meals Hero of the Week. Also want to remind you about Win Ticket Wednesday, your chance to win big every week on the KSL Sports Zone. This week, or next week, I should say, you can win tickets to go see Brian Regan at Delta Center on Valentine's Day, Saturday, February 14th. Get your tickets at SeatGeek.com. That's SeatGeek.com. Steve Bartle is going to join us coming up at the top of the 11 o'clock hour, so we'll talk to Steve about what's going on up on the hill. Has the... I was trying to read up on this morning. Has the private equity thing gone through? It's supposed to be late January, early
Yeah,
February.
I've not seen. Let's ask Steve about that.
Are you surprised we have not seen more universities follow suit? I guess we did see the Big 12 Conference kind of follow suit, right? But are you surprised we haven't seen, or is Utah the test case and everybody's waiting to see exactly how that goes?
It is a little bit weird timing to happen right at the end of football season, though I guess it doesn't necessarily have to align with football. But it always seemed like something would be done in the summer for teams. Kind of you get a little bit of a lull between football and basketball, and it's just Olympic sports that are playing at that moment. So, and honestly, you're just off. Kids are out of school, so you have a chance to dictate some of that stuff. But yeah, I think it's going to be a test case. And man, I just don't know what's going on up at Utah. It feels wayward right now to me, and maybe that's just because of all the changes on the football staff, and maybe they can get it all back under control, and everything will be fine as soon as they get back there. But just like no inroads with basketball, and again, it's Alex Jensen's first year. It's too early to expect that anything would have actually changed. But I don't know. I just don't have a great feeling about Utah athletics at the moment.
I wonder if they're trying to get the deal done to jam it in before the legislatures can say no.
It's possible.
Because there has been rumblings about that up there.
Yeah.
That people aren't exactly happy about it. I honestly don't know how they could do it without the legislatures go ahead. I guess the Board of Trustees all voted yes. I just wonder where that is. We haven't seen it officially close yet.
Yeah. No, it's a good. It's has a chance to be the biggest story at Utah for the next several years. If you actually do get a huge influx of cash that does whatever they think it's going to do, I mean, that could, I guess, change your program or programs. Are you going to become relevant in basketball all of a sudden? Or are you going to be more competitive in football? Are you fighting to not be irrelevant. I'm guess I'm still curious about what the goal is here. Is this money keeping the lights on, or is this money actually, a good investment that they're going to get money back on at some point when they, give this opportunity or this investment company, when they pay them back? More questions than answers, certainly.
Well, it depends. I wonder what Morgan's game plan is going to be as a program, because whatever this money's for, they're not going to be one of the rich programs in the country.
Period. Yeah.
So what are you doing to find overlooked players? And then what are you doing to coach them up and keep them? Because that's going to be the recipe for Utah's football success, which the good news is that's been the recipe for their success pretty much since they became successful.
It is.
So, what's his plan to do that, I think is extremely important, and certainly willing to give him a chance to show what he's doing. With basketball, and we could ask Steve about this, I don't know if I trust the plan.
Yeah, I'm totally with you.
To go, like, this whole philosophy is of we're going to make our college basketball program like the pros. I don't know about that. For example, Kevin Young's been successful at BYU. I'm not trying to be overly critical of him, but his team has some bad habits.
Yeah, really bad.
And in the pros, you get over those bad habits, because if you don't, then unless you're the creme de la creme, you're not going to be in the league anymore, right? College is so different because the pool is so much bigger. I just don't think you can run. And I shouldn't say kids, but the players are so much less mature. Mm-hmm. Emotionally, physically, all across the board. I don't think you can bring this pro philosophy to college and have it work. In football, Kirk Cignetti is not bringing a pro philosophy to Indiana. Right?
Right.
In college basketball, the successful coaches, Kelvin Sampson, even in this new world, is not bringing a pro philosophy to Houston.
Right.
BYU's next opponent. In fact, far from it.
The opposite, almost. Yeah. And it's pushed back against the idea of the pro philosophy.
Right.
Yeah.
Bill Self has been, quote unquote, running a pro program for 30 years or whatever, but he doesn't coach like a pro coach.
No, he doesn't.
That's not his thing. I don't, especially at Utah, where you're not going to have the dough BYU's going to throw around. I don't buy into this pro philosophy in college. I just don't.
And maybe this is true everywhere. I don't think it is, but maybe it's true for most places. It just feels like it's football, a little bit of gymnastics, and nothing else right now at Utah. It is strange to look at, even yesterday, like the Big 12 baseball predictions come out, the power rankings. Utah's just dead last. And it just feels like, I think they finished dead last in softball last year. 2 years ago, they were pretty good, but dead last in softball last year. Just feels like every time something rolls out, Utah's expected to have no impact in the league at all in the Big 12 outside of football. Basketball, dead last. Baseball, dead last. Softball, dead last. Gymnastics, exceptional. Football, very good. And maybe that's just the goal. Maybe you just only care about the two programs where you feel like you have an opportunity to be successful. And of course, skiing, because what else are you going to do here?
Well, the women's basketball team's not bad.
They're okay. And even then, they have dropped off compared to where they were a year and a half ago.
Yeah, they gotta figure it out. But Utah's never been a resources school, and I don't see that changing.
Agreed.
And I don't see that changing with this weird
that's the big question.
Investment. It's not.
Does this actually give you resources to change anything,
No.
or are you just the exact same school?
I don't think that is the big question. I don't. It doesn't. I don't think they're going to use the money on players. But money is fungible, right? So if you use this on this, you can use this on this. But I don't think, Utah State's trying to start the rev share to be a rev share school. They're never going to spend the 20.
Yeah, I agree.
They can't afford to spend the 20. They're not going to spend the 20.
They don't have an extra 20 laying around.
I don't think Utah has an extra 20 laying around. I think
BYU?
No, Utah.
Utah, okay. Yeah, Utah's not going to spend the 20. No, totally not.
I don't think BYU honestly has the 20 lying around, but BYU doesn't need the 20.
Right.
Right?
They've got other money.
Because the athletic department has to run in the black. That's been a thing at BYU forever. So maybe some of the 20 is coming, but if it's coming out of another pot, who cares?
Right.
I mean, if you have to have $40 million to have a top 25 football program, I don't think 20 of that is coming from the school at BYU.
Probably not.
But at Utah, they were counting on that 20 being the cap for everybody.
Yeah.
And that's not the case. So I don't know how much of the 20 they're going to spend. They're probably going to try and spend all of it And that's maybe what this cash infusion has to do, but it's not going to upend the disadvantages that Utah has amongst its peers.
I don't think so at all. I'm totally with you.
All right, stay tuned. We'll run this stuff past Bartle coming up next. 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Hey, hang out with Scotty G. And I believe my guy Tim Lacombe is going to be with him as well today from noon to 3 at the Grill, hanging out with the good folks of RW Beef, 2264 South Main Street in Lehigh. Scotty and our guy Timmy Lacombe. All right, let's talk some Ute sports. It's time to talk to our friend Bartle. Hit it.
Covering the Utes better than anyone else. This is Ute Insider Steve Bartle of KSLSports.com on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Hi, Steve. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, fellas. How we doing?
Doing all right. We were just talking in the last segment about the University of Utah, this private equity deal that was talked about a lot at the end of last year. We haven't heard much on it since then. Are there any updates? Was this supposed to be closed by now?
No real updates. It's quiet, which means they're, probably busy at work on it, probably not talking about it a lot, but there was, plenty of work to be done on it to finish it. I shouldn't say plenty of work, but there was obviously, maybe not a lot of work, but just important steps to finalize, and I'm sure they're getting close to the finish line. Haven't heard anything in terms of, a date for when it will be finalized, but I know that they're working to get that all finished.
I've heard grumblings from lawmakers. Is there any way the legislature can put the brakes on it, or with the unanimous voting of the trustees, is it a done deal?
I don't know too much about the laws and all that sort of stuff, the political side of it. I just know that Utah is continuing to move forward and trying to get that deal done. And it's a big thing, not only for Utah, but also for, college sports really, because, Utah isn't the only program that's feeling the impact of a new $20 million tab that's only going to go up over the next decade each and every year. So I think a lot of people are looking at Utah to finish this deal, whether they acknowledge it or not. I think this is a big thing when you're talking about the money that is now being shared with athletes. It's significant. And for a lot of universities out there, it's come at the expense of boosters and supporters of those universities, and there's a growing sense of fatigue among those people that support programs. So I think a lot of people, quietly behind the scenes are rooting for Utah to get this done and to see what sort of impact it has. So, we'll see what sort of impact the legislature stuff has on it. Obviously, when Utah announced it, it was met with resistance a little bit. Some comments were made by political people and all that. But I think, quietly behind the scenes, there are a lot of people that are rooting for Utah to get this to the finish line.
Steve, big picture, do you think you can give me a understanding of what the goal is for Utah athletics? I mean, meaning, is it all going to be about the football team being great, gymnastics being great, and everything else just kind of being whatever? Because, and this is just silly, but I saw the preseason predictions for baseball, and they're dead last. And softball, they were dead last year. It's just seems like I don't know if I would say the athletic department's in a great spot, in great shape since moving to the Big 12. Outside of football's awesome, and that's probably enough for most people.
Yeah, there's definitely a growing concern around the athletic programs, at least among the fan base, that, things aren't trending in the right direction. And, a lot of people are becoming more and more critical of obviously the leadership up there at Utah and the university. Again, the fan base, speaking of it's becoming more vocalized that the concerns are growing, especially, with the way that the Red Rocks have started the season. You can always count on the Red Rocks to be steady, to be consistent, to be performing at a really high level. And they made a coaching change, obviously, and the Red Rocks have not gotten off to a great start. And I think that really is why there's a growing amount of frustration among, the fan base that, things aren't trending in the right direction. Now, obviously, with Utah football, coming off an 11-win season, things feel good there. They've made the transition to Morgan Scalley, and there's optimism there. With Utah basketball, men's basketball specifically, we knew that this season would be a tough first one. Expectations weren't super high, but still, I think it's even then, Utah isn't meeting the low expectations they had coming into the year. So, I think the frustration is growing. And when you look at the overall health of each program, there's certainly good things that lead you to believe that things are, good things are happening. Obviously, the baseball program just opened up, just cut the ribbon on their new stadium, and the outlook and the impact that will have on their future and their outlook is promising. I know that there's a lot of excitement, around the program and sort of the impact that will have on Utah baseball moving forward now that it's on campus and they have these great facilities. Obviously, with the basketball program, you've got Alex Jensen, who's everybody was excited for. You've got the pending Huntsman renovation / new stadium. What is it going to be? We might see something soon officially from Utah announced there as well. And so from that sense, there are good things happening. But again, just the overall success of each and every program has kind of dipped over the last couple of years. And I think fans are starting to grow a little bit more frustrated as time goes on.
So I don't think anybody, and I'm including the three of us, really expected the Utah basketball team to be good this year. But with that in mind, how evaluate the job Alex Jensen is doing?
Yeah, I think it's tough because obviously expectations weren't high coming into the season. We talked before the year, before the season began. I sort of viewed them as at best a 12, 13th place type of program this year. And before the season began, they lose what was going to be a pretty significant piece in Babacar Faye, and then they've had two guys, Jacob Patrick and Lucas Longarita, also injured. Patrick for the last 2 months and Longarita for the last month. And those three pieces, I think, would have helped Utah, at different junctures over the last couple of months, where maybe things look and feel a little bit better. But overall, this was going to be sort of, a year one where Alex, goes through the first year, kind of gets his bearings under him and the roster, and you're kind of setting the foundation of what his program is going to be. And so it's been difficult. It was going to be a difficult first year, only made more difficult by the guys that they've lost so far this season. And so, over the last couple of games, it's been an interesting dynamic where you've got the fan base watching the program, and, the previous 3 or 4 weeks, Utah had been making progress. They had shown improvement. They were playing a fun brand of basketball. Unfortunately, they played a really difficult slate of opponents. And over the last couple of games, there was a really concerted effort by the fan base to show up to the Huntsman, for these last 2 home games against Oklahoma State and against Arizona State. And the hope was that, Utah basketball would finally, put it all together with the Huntsman crowd behind them. And unfortunately, they've had 2 really bad performances. And so what sort of impact that's going to have on the fan base is going to be interesting to follow over the next couple of weeks, because the excitement was growing. The commitment to showing up to games was growing because the product on the floor, people watching from home, you could see that. You could feel it. The offense, obviously, it's a work in progress, but I think the fan base was really starting to get behind this team, and then they dropped these last 2 games in really disappointing fashion. And so it's kind of an interesting time right now with all of that. But this team, I think, had some potential to make some noise. Unfortunately, just the injuries, the guys that they've lost this year, have really kind of impacted the program where they haven't been able to be as competitive, as competitive as they hope to be coming into the year.
Men's Big 12 basketball overall, how would you view it? There's obviously some fabulous teams at the top, including an undefeated Arizona team. Houston's only got 2 losses. BYU suddenly not performing anywhere near, I think, as well as anybody expected. They're 5-4 in conference overall, and we know this is a difficult conference, but Texas Tech is playing well. Central Florida has a better record than that. Is this still a very good year for the Big 12, or do you think people are viewing it a little differently?
Yeah, I do think this is still a really good year for the Big 12. Obviously, Arizona being the flag bearer for the conference this year, they're playing great basketball, far and away the best program in the country. They are just so good, have so many different answers, and it feels like they still have another gear or two that they can get to, which is really, really impressive. So the job Tommy Lloyd has done there in Tucson with that Arizona program, obviously undefeated up to this point, 22-0, with a lot of really impressive wins. So they're the ones carrying the conference this year. Then you've got programs like Houston, Iowa State, Texas Tech, Kansas, that are still right there behind Arizona, that are doing a lot of heavy lifting for the program. UCF and West Virginia, now you can throw Oklahoma State in there as well, but those 3 programs really surprising coming into the year. I think there was a lot of conversation around West Virginia specifically because of the changes that they made. Really not a lot known there what they were going to look like, but the Mountaineers are playing good basketball. UCF with Johnny Dawkins leading the way, a surprising season so far. I think this conference is really, really good. It's just interesting when you look at it, just the difference from the top and the bottom is so drastic. It's so steep, where you've got, a couple of programs. You got Arizona 9-0, Houston 8-1, and then you've got, Kansas State and Utah with 1 win apiece in conference play. And then it's a lot of, competitive programs there, 8 through 14, where it's just kind of jockeying for position. So, this conference, I certainly think has put itself very prominently in the conversation as the best basketball conference in the country this year. But with some of the performances lately where, like BYU, for example, dropping to Oklahoma State, while that's good for the overall health, I think you still want your flag bearers, at the top to continue to carry that weight. So fortunately, you've still got Houston. You've got Iowa State, who, after dropping a couple conference games early on, have really come on strong. You're going to need those programs to continue to play well. And I think what's interesting is, for Utah specifically, I think part of the reason why the fan base has really started to try and get behind the program is the fact that Big 12 basketball is so good this year. And I think there is starting to be more excitement, more interest for that, right, for Big 12 basketball. And so, as we get closer and closer to the off season, I think a lot of fans are going to be interested in how Utah attacks the transfer portal, because they want to be involved in the conversation with Big 12 basketball. They want to be one of those programs that, is helping the cause and not weighing down the conference. So overall, I think, again, the conference is great. You've got your flag bearers in it. You've got your programs doing a lot of the heavy lifting, and you've got depth in this conference, which, is really, really, really impressive.
What's going on with the football program right now?
Man, it's pretty quiet. But Morgan Scalley, I think maybe not all of the finishing touches in terms of, his staff, coaching staff and auxiliary staff, but they announced yesterday a lot of staff finalized staff members for those auxiliary positions, and some really interesting names. Bo Nagahe joining the auxiliary staff as an alumni relations member, and you've got Lavani Damouni making the transition from player to player personnel analyst, where he's going to be evaluating players and that sort of thing. You've got new personnel staff members, and you've got a new GM. So really interesting stuff from a staff perspective. What Morgan has accomplished, I think, has been really, really impressive. Going back to him finalizing his staff in a matter of days was impressive. And now they've put the bulk of his auxiliary staff, they've put the touches on that. And I still think they'll probably add a couple more pieces to some of these groups and all that. But I think overall really impressive. The football program in general, just kind of up there, going through winter workouts. I know pretty soon here we'll be talking about spring ball, and from what I've gathered, there should be a little bit more access for media up there this spring. And I think there's just a lot of kind of excitement to see what this program is going to look like. Obviously, a lot of change this offseason, staff, personnel-wise. But this is a program that still has expectations going into next season. And when you've got your quarterback position figured out with Devin Dampier and Bird Ficklin, I think there's plenty of reason to be optimistic about your chances in the Big 12. And so it's all going to be about kind of the progress that some important position groups make this winter, speaking specifically to the offensive and defensive lines, the work that they put in during winter workouts and during spring ball. I think a lot of people are curious to see how it all comes together. But outside of that, pretty quiet. The coaching staff has been out on the recruiting trail pretty heavily, visiting prospects, extending offers. So things are starting to get going. But outside of that, not a lot of significant news to report on Utah football right now.
Well, Steve, thank you very much for jumping on with us. We always appreciate it. Enjoy the weekend and enjoy the Super Bowl.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, Steve. It's our buddy Steve Bartle, who covers the Utes for KSLSports.com.
Really curious about Mark Harlan and where this is all headed. It doesn't seem like there's any real belief in him at all. Like, who has his back? The fan base certainly doesn't. He's embarrassed the team a couple of times now, either at press conferences or on social media. Teams are losing. It would be one thing if you were being made fun of, but your teams were good. It'd be one thing if you were a cartoon character, but the basketball team was better than it's ever been. But like the sacred cow of the gymnastics program not living up to expectations could be a death sentence, could be a death knell. That's a really bad sign, because that program rolls out of bed as a top 4 team in the country every single year.
Not being disrespectful for the gymnast, but I think he's bet it all on Alex Jensen and Morgan Scalley.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
I think he can't miss on another coach in a major program. And when I talk about major, I mean those two. Again, no offense to the gymnastics program. But if Alex doesn't work out, or if Morgan doesn't work out, then he's not going to work out. Mm-hmm. He's bet it all on those two guys, and now he has to figure out a way to get them the most resources to succeed. And that's what his job depends on, my opinion. Unless all of a sudden he shows up with a huge deficit in the budget or something like that. Like the University of Arizona, what was that story a couple years ago where they just found that they owed $400 million or something like that?
Yeah.
That they didn't plan for?
Like that?
So
yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just think he's certainly bet it all on Morgan. I mean, I don't know if the fan base would let him boot another basketball coach, but I mean, the way that it ended with Witt and the way that it started with Morgan, I mean, he's
even that starts behind the 8 ball.
He's put it all on that guy. So if Morgan succeeds, then Mark Harlan will probably be fine. If Morgan fails, then that's probably a different story.
See, I don't even know if that's enough. That might be where my anxiety would be about the Utah program, is that football is going to be good. Morgan's going to be good. I think Morgan's going to do a really good job. I think the program has a ton of momentum that is, carrying over from what Kyle Whittingham built. And you can coast on that for a little while. Not always, but I do think Morgan hits the ground running and has the right approach. And I do believe in Morgan Scalley's ability to do that job. But if everything else falls apart, I don't think Mark Harlan's going to get any credit for hiring the coach in waiting who got that contract before Mark Harlan got there. And I know it went away and I know it came back, et cetera, but I don't think Mark Harlan's going to get any credit for this unless he can fund this team and find $20 million, yes, to build out a team that's going to win the Big 12 and make the college football playoff. I'm not sure how many pats on the back Mark Harlan's going to get for this.
See, you're getting into an interesting part of the athletic director's job. He shouldn't get any credit. He shouldn't. The coach gets the credit because the coach is running the program. The athletic director hires the coach. Mm-hmm. Regardless of if that coach was here or not here or whatever, he gets the credit. If there isn't any credit for the athletic director, it's hiring the right guy. So I guess what I'm trying to say is he's already got the job. It's negatives that are going to take the job away.
Sure.
So if Morgan fails, that's going to take his job away. I think if Alex fails, that'll probably take the job away. I don't know if he gets some sort of boost for making the right hire. That's his job.
Right. No, I'm totally with you. But if you do, as you said, you don't know if the fan base would let him make 2 more bad hires or boot another basketball coach. That is how you're judged, ultimately. And how you're judged is how those coaches perform.
Right.
So I don't even know if Morgan winning will buy him time. Certainly it would more than if Morgan loses right out of the gate. If Utah's 5-7 next year, he's gone, not Morgan. But they're going to have to make significant changes to the athletic department. Basketball team, man, it's just like some of the sound clips, the audio, and the stories coming, not stories, I shouldn't say that, but headlines coming out. It's just like, is Alex surprised that the program's at this low of a point? It seems like he's frustrated that the fan base isn't invested at all. It's like, why would they be? It's been a disaster.
I think Morgan and Harlan are attached. If Morgan fails, there's no way that Harlan loses his job and Morgan stays.
Well, the next athletic director would bring in their own person.
So they're locked at the hip. Now, whether or not Alex and Mark Harlan are locked at the hip, I don't know. That's debatable. But if Morgan fails, both of them are out.
No question. Yeah, well, you can't be bad at everything.
Right. So
that's the problem. Right now, their 2 good things are basketball and gymnastics. And if gymnastics is underwhelming in the slightest, that's really going to shake some people up because there is a ton of loyalty for the gymnastics program, and they still sell seats. And that's where people identify themselves as a winner. People want to be associated with a winner.
All right, we'll have more coming up next. Stay tuned. It's Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Who's got it better than us?
Your home for the best sports coverage in Utah. You're listening to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Join Scotty G coming up next Tuesday from noon to 3 at My Hearing Centers, 8941 South, 700 East. Is there a reason we're being patriotic today? Not that there's a bad day, I suppose.
The opening ceremonies of the Olympics.
Is that the excuse?
3 minutes from now.
All right.
Yeah. It's with flags everywhere. So,
is there an example of an Olympic event where you cheer against the U.S.?
Not that I've ever run into.
Oh, I cheer against the basketball team every game.
Yeah, I was a little curious to see if some of these smaller countries could pull it out, but more a morbid curiosity than it was rooting for Lithuania or whoever.
I remember when Carlos Arroyo took down Team USA. Mm-hmm. It's a good day. I don't know. It's been so long now. I don't know if I could ever consider myself an Olympic purist, but believe it or not, the Olympics used to be about amateur sports. And I actually don't like the concept that you can just load up a team that's going to win by 30 every single game, and it's never in doubt. Kind of think it defeats the purpose.
How so?
I don't know. Is it competitive?
Isn't it just finding the greatest people in the world competing in athletics at the highest level?
But that's not what it used to be about.
I think it was.
No, it was about amateurs. It was not about professionals. It was about amateurs and competing for your team. They got rid of that when they let the Dream Team compete in the early 90s, and now you can be a professional at whatever you want.
It just seems like a made-up rule to me. And if it's a meritocracy, if you actually want the best of the world competing at the highest ranks, you're the best. As long as you've never made $1 off of this, that seems totally superfluous to me.
Well,
do we actually want the best, or do we just want the best who don't get money?
I just want it to be competitive.
You're the 85th best in the world, but since you've never made $1, we're going to put you out there and give you a gold
you're
medal.
operating under the assumption that just because you're in the Olympics, you're somehow the best. If you've ever been to a ski event for the Olympics or even a World Cup ski event, honestly, although less so. But let me tell you, the Argentinian downhiller is not amongst the best 20 skiers in the world.
Correct. But the American who got there, or the Swiss or Swedish or whoever breaks through, did have to beat the best of the world to get their spot.
Well, they had to beat the best in their country. But you get what I'm saying. Like the 20th best skier in the U.S.
Correct.
Is still better than the best skier for 90% of the rest of the world.
100%.
So what you're talking about, the best of the best competing, it doesn't actually exist. Your best of your country is competing against the best of their country. And I'm really just wanting to be entertained. I actually don't necessarily think that just because you win Olympic gold that you are the best of the best necessarily. But I don't like the competitive imbalance of Olympic basketball. I think it takes the entertainment factor out of watching it away. I think it makes it way less interesting. Just watching the NBA players drub Lithuania does nothing for me.
Because if you wanted the best basketball players in the world, Team Lithuania would have Donovan Mitchell on it and would have Rudy Gobert. You're right. You would have the top 12 players in the world on one team, but then players 13 through 25 would be on the next best team, and you're right. That is not what happens.
Just because you divide the event by country makes it unfair from the very start.
Sure. It certainly doesn't warrant itself as being the best of the best.
Is it really fair that the United States, a population of, what are we up to now, 350 million, is competing against, even take a big European country, what's the population of Germany?
Right. Minuscule.
Yeah. So the best German basketball players against the best United States basketball players, that's actually not fair.
I agree.
It's not a competition to see who is the best of the best.
But I don't know if that has anything to do with amateurism. I'm not sure amateurism encourages or discourages that.
That's not really my point, other than it even the playing field. That was really what I'm nostalgic about, is, yes, the best amateur basketball team in the United States and the best amateur Russian basketball team are on a similar level. And thus the Russians beat the United States controversially in basketball in, what was that, 80? It was the LA Olympics, right?
Were they not playing professional Russian players?
I'd have to get into the nuance of what makes a profession.
Because I think that was part of it, is they were other countries were allowing professionals to play.
Or they were paying them under the table or something like that. I'm not really here to defend the Russian Athletic Federation and their ability to cheat. But I do know that the basketball tournament has not been competitive since 1992.
For the most part. I mean, they didn't win the gold medal one year.
Okay, 1 year, 1992 was a long time ago, but yes, I get your point.
Yeah, I mean, that's what, 8 Summer Olympics, something like that. So yeah.
Like that?
It has happened.
It's part of the reason I'm a little mad at Lindsey Vonn. Give somebody else an opportunity. This is her 8th Olympics or whatever it is, and you have to be the hero on a torn ACL so bad? I mean...
If she could have been replaced. I have no idea.
I don't know the rules on that either, although I did hear somebody talking about it. I guess it was yesterday that talked about maybe she could. I could look into the rules and see. I would guess, though. I mean, that's what happened with that's how Tanya Harding still ended up on the Olympic team.
And I mean, even yesterday, they were replacing players on the NHL rosters or on the hockey rosters because guys are getting hurt in the last games of the before the break.
Because that poor gal who got beat out by Lindsey Vonn in her torn ACL would be by far the best skier in Chile.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
by a mile.
Yeah.
I was really shocked.
Or the host country, though Italy probably has some pretty good skiers.
Yeah. I was shocked about that when I went to the Super G when the Olympics were here. Like, there are, I don't know, half dozen skiers that are absolutely incredible and screamed at the bottom of the hill. Then there's another, 10.
The Australian breakdancer.
Then there's another 10 that may or may not make it. And there's a half dozen at the back part that aren't even going to make it past the halfway point.
Yeah. What it does do is allow them to represent their country, and I understand the value there.
Right, but it does not necessarily play into who is the best in the entire world.
It's not arguing for that.
Well, that's what everybody thinks the Olympics is.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. The premise, I guess, is do you ever cheer against the Americans? I cheer against the American basketball team because I don't think it's fair.
Okay.
Or I don't think it's competitive. Maybe if the word fair is what's bothering people. Like, I guess it's fair. The best American basketball players are better than the rest of the world like that. But like that.
Like that?
But it doesn't make for an entertaining Olympic event. That's for sure.
There is something to be said that the 1992 Dream Team changed basketball for the better entirely. I mean, it made it truly a worldwide sport. It inspired every country that got to see them to start competing at a higher level, and it's no coincidence that 18 years later, 20 years later, it's the most international sport we have competing of the major four in the United States.
It's not soccer.
It's not soccer.
Not soccer.
No.
All right, stay tuned. We wrap up the week. Coming up next, Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Whether it's the Jazz, Utes, Cougars, or Aggies, these guys have got you covered.
Time to eat, fellas.
You're locked on to Jake Scott and Ben Anderson
1, 2, 3, move it.
on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Two amigos on the airways, talking sports. They got it made, Jake's and on soul. Loves his tie-dye, Ben's got style with his scarves. Oh my.
Jake and Ben, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Jake Scott, Ben Anderson, wrapping up a Friday show. Puka Nacua is on with Armpit right now. Did Samson never? Did he get let off of the Grand Theft Auto thing?
He did.
What was the story
They
behind
ended
that?
up deciding that Samson thought that the car he stole was his brother's.
Was Puka's?
Was Puka's, and when it was not Adu with the Arrows, who plays for the Los Angeles Lakers.
How'd he get the keys?
Oh, I don't believe the story in the slightest, but somebody made it go away. Which is what powerful people do.
So you think
Money.
he did steal the car?
I don't think it was above board. Yeah, I mean,
Well, it still begs the question, why is he stealing a car?
hey man,
See, the more plausible of it was an accident makes actually sense to me, because why on earth would you steal an NBA player's car?
I don't know. Why would you punch a fan in the crowd? He's had all kinds of weird things. He's a weird guy.
That's not weird. That's just not showing any restraint. I'm sure every athlete ever wants to punch.
Stealing a car could fit in that same. He didn't show any restraint.
No. But you get my point. I'm sure every athlete, like every person who played in the Jazz game last night against the Hawks, there's one member of the crowd that they want to punch right in the face.
Yes.
That impulse is there for every athlete in every professional sports game, because there's some idiot that's down there yelling or saying something or whatever. Even if it's not inappropriate, you're like, I'd rather.
Yeah.
Wish I could drag
Hit
that
that
guy
guy,
out of
yeah.
here and beat him up in the parking lot.
Yeah.
I don't think every athlete has the automatic impulse to steal a car.
That's accurate.
Now, I congratulate most athletes, I'd say 99.9%, who show a little restraint in not punching the fan. But I don't know, maybe Samson's walking around like that video game.
Like that?
Grand Theft Auto, do you think Samson's just walking into Puka's house and just grabbing cars and that's it? And Adu Thiero was just hanging out there and thought like, oh, there's keys in the dish, so I'm just gonna grab them. I don't believe that either.
Was it at a car? I was picturing, or at a house, I was picturing like a valet or something.
Okay, you usually have to get a ticket to get your thing back, but unless Samson's parking
I don't
cars
know.
now.
I've parked at some pretty loose valets. Have you ever had that situation where you're like, is this?
Well, I was a bellman. You've been a bellman as well. I've also been a valet a little bit in my career. And now it's all done on an app. So they've gotten rid of the old tag system. So I don't know. I didn't believe the story. I read a little bit of, he just thought it was his brother's car, and that's how he did it. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe it in the first place.
I saw Puka, or at least pictures from the paparazzi, that he has a new girl, because he was really hating on the female gender there for a minute.
Yeah, it's really out on women. Good week.
But I think didn't his gal break his heart? And isn't there a child involved in there somewhere?
He said all women are cheaters or something. I don't know.
Well, he got over it. That's all I'm saying.
Apparently.
I'm saying good for Puka.
Turn the page.
So are your Patriots going to win?
Nope, Seahawks.
That's going to crush you.
No, I like the Seahawks. I like Darnold. This is a win-win for me. I don't care who wins this game. I like both of these teams. I like both of the storylines. I'd probably prefer the Seahawks win because I don't think they're going to get back, and I do think this is not the last time that Drake Maye is going to be in the Super Bowl, and I don't know how long Sam Darnold is going to keep this up. But again, that goes back to our narrative: is why am I waiting for Sam Darnold to fall apart? He's good. I keep waiting for this all for the real Sam Darnold to tap him on the shoulder and be like, remember, we're lousy. That's why we were a backup on 4 different teams before we got to Minnesota. But maybe he's just good. Maybe Seattle will be back here next year. Maybe they're the favorite.
I certainly don't
think
think
the favorite in the game this weekend.
I certainly don't think it's a given Drake Maye gets back.
No, that division being so laughably terrible every year is a real boost. That really helps.
Well, what's his bungle? Everybody thought, oh, this is going to be the first of many. He hasn't even sniffed it. Burrow.
Oh, sure.
Dan Marino made the Super Bowl as a rookie, right? Never made it again?
Yeah, but ridiculous franchises. I mean, the Bengals are the most ridiculous franchise outside of Salazar's Raiders and the Bears. Or not the Bears, the Bengals and the Browns.
The Bears too, yeah.
The Bears too.
Well, the Dolphins were a really good franchise in the 80s.
Well, that fell apart. And now, speaking of Drake Maye, he gets to play them twice a year. And he gets to play the Bills twice a year, who can have the most talented roster and not put one foot in front of the other. And he gets the benefit of playing the Jets. Yeah, he'll be back. That's the safest bet.
Yeah. I don't know. I just think it's like Cam Newton not jumping on the fumble.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think a lot of people would have said, oh, MVP, Carolina was really good. Oh, they'll roll it back.
Never did.
His career was on the fast track to over.
Agreed. He was in his prime at that point, but was certainly later in his career than where Drake Maye is. And that's why I'm betting on Drake Maye to get back. They have a good young roster. They just have a good team. And clearly they do things well. And yes, it may just be the land of the blind. The man with one eye is the king. And they are in the land of the blind in the AFC East. It's just an absolute ridiculous joke.
Yeah. But the Patriots were part of that joke not that long ago.
Like a couple of years ago.
Like,
when they had Cam Newton.
Mac Jones and Cam Newton and the end of old Belichick.
But as soon as you get a guy, apparently it's not that hard to win. And
I think it is.
They have a guy now.
I think it is really hard to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, not to be like, get back here whenever, you know.
And there were weird things that happened this year. Certainly Mahomes being hurt didn't help.
All right, Scotty G on location with Bar W Beef coming up next. We will talk to you next week.
Thanks, Christian.
On Jacob Ben, 97.5 DKSL Sports Zone.